Good evening. I wanted to take a couple minutes this evening and just talk about and give you some general reminders about the discussion board element of the class. As you know, on an online class, the discussion board forum is the main avenue, the main vehicle where there's conversations happening, we learn from each other, and we share ideas back and forth. And where you demonstrate your level of understanding of the content of the class. And at this point in the module, based on what I've seen so far, I thought there would be, and there should be, more frequent interaction among the classmates. But I want to give some general reminders about the discussion boards based on the responses that I've seen also. Number one, be sure you are reading the question. In certain parts, like in the curriculum design question, the question was pick one design, and multiple people are picking multiple designs and talking about each one. More is not necessarily better in those situations. While you might have to talk about more later in your paper, where you're making connections to at least four, be sure you're reading the questions and answering the question that's being presented to you in the discussion board. I don't want you to do more work than you have to. And also, make sure, like in the module question, it says pick you're looking at a module, a model, and you're deciding elements that are present and things that are absent. So make sure you hit both parts of that question, and that would be important as you go into your paper. You're not just talking about what you see, but those glaring things that are missing out of those models. Connected to the objectives question, I think it's important as you kind of analyze that, and you may see some of your classmates doing this, highlighting the standards and breaking it down by standards, and then highlighting keywords that apply that make it clear why you are making a decision to put it at that level or within that domain, or whatever. But you're drawing that connection between the verbs and highlighting that, and then being able to explain why you selected that particular objective. And then the next point I want to make is about the interactions in the discussion boards. I think it's two things. Number one, in the very beginning, I gave you kind of a framework to use. In every discussion module, you have to have initial answers to at least 3 questions, unless it's changed up by me within different modules. But so far, you have initial posts, phase 2, you respond to those people who responded to you, and then phase 3, you're interacting with others and jumping in different conversations. I would encourage you to look at the rubric in the rubric tab, scroll all the way to the bottom and look at this discussion board rubric. You should be having multiple interactions in every single question, not just the ones that you answered. So in objectives, domains, scope and sequence, curriculum design, curriculum models, knowledge transfer, you should have 2 responses in every single one of those, at least. You should be coming back multiple days, every other day, checking and engaging with your peers. Don't wait to the end, because part of this is that you're active throughout the module, and you show that by when you are interacting and how frequently you do it. And then what I would say about your interactions with each other is that when you are having those conversations back and forth, Be sure that you're asking questions to each other. Be sure you're making a comment, and then recommend something. And making sure you're making connections to Henson's text as appropriate. You don't have to do it every single time you talk to someone, but you're pulling that in and out of conversations, Henson's text, and making connections in that way, so that you are showing your understanding as you are interacting with your peers. And so, as we go through the remainder of this module, I hope to see more interaction from all of you, interacting with one another, jumping in and out of conversations in every thread. Because this is the crux of it. Besides working on your project, this is the crux of how online classes are delivered. And so I want us to be engaged. I'm trying to model that for you and with you. I try to be pretty active on the board, but I want to see your activity increase as we go through the last end of this module. Okay, so keep working hard. I hope my feedback's been meaningful to you, and I hope this reminds you of what I'd like to see more from you as students, interacting with each other and making it more of a conversation. Okay, thanks so much. Have a nice evening.